Hello everyone. I am back again. I told y'all I was going to be doing more than one video today, and this time I want to talk to you about the agencies that give us our rules for canning. I've had several people recently ask me if I use safe canning practices. And so I want to talk to you about what I do as far as my canning recipes and that kind of stuff. Now, I've shown you all my bookcase before where I have, I don't know, there's probably 20 different canning books on the bookcase. And so I've got lots and lots of recipes that I've got several ball books. I've got the one that's, I think, Bernadine or whatever it is, that's from Canada. I've got the USDA canning book. I've got all kinds of canning books. So I do use a lot of the recipes in these books. And then there's also the web page for the National Center for Home Food Preservation. And I also use a lot of information from there. There are also some universities across the country that do recipes. They test recipes for preservation. And so there's just lots and lots of resources that we can look to find safe recipes. Now, does that mean that I'm going to throw out every recipe that I've had handed down through the generations from my mother and my grandmother and my aunts and people like that? Well, yes and no. I have some recipes like that, and just to give you a good example, I have the recipe where my family in years past would make sausage, and they would fry their sausage or put it in the oven. They would cook it anyway, and then they would put that sausage in the jars, pour the hot grease over it, put the lids and rings on it, which they had boiling, and then they would flip it upside down and let the hot grease cause the jar to seal. Now, am I going to do that today? The answer is no. I will pressure can my sausage. And so there's lots of things like that I have changed recipes that were generational recipes that, I understand, after working in the medical field, I understand what the pressure canner does to sterilize and kill bacteria. And so I will make sure that foods that are low acid are going in the pressure canner. And so the other thing that I will do is make sure that if a recipe does not have vinegar or lemon juice or, some kind of acid in it, then it's going to get pressure canned. Now, there are some things, some vegetables, like for instance, broccoli. Broccoli's low acid, so you could not water bath it. You could, unless you pickled it. But if you put it in a pressure canner, it's going to turn to gravy. It's just going to be mush. So, I'm going to follow those guidelines on this channel. But now, do I think that this National Center for Food Preservation or the USDA or the colleges, do I believe that they are the know-all, be-all of canning? And my answer to that is no. They might be the know-all, be-all of the recipes that they have tested, but that does not eliminate family recipes that have been tested for generations. And so I've seen, I've like I've told y'all before, I'm on a lot of different social media sites, and I have seen comments of people saying, you're going to die from botulism if you don't use, a ball recipe or something like that. That's not true. And before you get upset with me about that, I have many recipes that I have followed the guidelines from the National Center for Home Food Preservation to know, for instance, a vegetable soup. If you make up your own vegetable soup recipe and you look at your ingredients to see that all of those ingredients can be canned and all of those ingredients which one needs to be pressure canned the longest. And in most cases, that's going to be your meat. Then you follow the recipe or you follow the canning time for the meat. And so, lots of these people saying, you can't can your home recipes. Well, I disagree with them. I mean, as long as you're not adding pasta and dairy and grains, things like that to your recipe, lots of recipes call for barley in a soup. Well, I would not add barley to a soup that I was going to can. So understand what those rules are. And then, I even saw somebody say, well, you can't, because you made homemade chili, that you could not can the leftovers. Well, look at your ingredients and see if all of your ingredients are cannable ingredients. If you've added some kind of dairy or, eggs, or I know you're not going to put any eggs in chili, but, look at your recipe and see what's in it to see if it can be canned. And so I just wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about that today and say that, I've got recipes on this channel that if you were to ask some of these universities if this is a safe recipe, they might tell you no, but it's been something I've done or my family has done for generations. So, and, it's we've never had anybody to get sick from it. And I'm not going to mix dairy in any recipe, but my Alfredo sauce recipe is all dairy. And so I'm not mixing ingredients. So I'm going to can my Alfredo sauce because of that. And I actually have talked with a food scientist about that. And, you have to decide whether you want to do that in your kitchen. But I will help you to learn the safe guidelines. I've studied this for over 50 years and been on all of these websites. So, I'm going to continue to can my food the way that I've learned. And most of my learning has come from a lot of these websites. So I will teach you according to that, and then you do your research with these websites and your books, and you decide whether you feel like it's safe for you. But I will always tell you in the video if, the recipe that I am teaching you is something that I've learned from a ball book or from, the Center for Home Food Preservation, or if it came from USDA. I don't trust USDA to begin with. I mean, they just completely flipped the food pyramid, so, they're not trustworthy. So, but anyway, I'm going to end it right there and get my pickled cabbage going. And so I'll be putting that on later. And so until the next time, God bless you all.